wanted to build up that excitement and enthusiasm for Quarryside Chat number 10. It is a big week this week, not only because this is the 10th Quarryside Chat that we have had the honor and pleasure of hosting and sharing with you all, but it is the eve before our big opening at the Forge Lemont Quarries tomorrow, Friday, July 17th. We are just hours away. So this is a really special Quarryside Chat for us this evening. And it's also extremely special because we have our three co-founders joining us this evening. They're going to take us through the history of the project, share the trials and tribulations, the enthusiasm, the excitement about this multi-year project coming to life here tomorrow, opening up to the public. So they're going to share some great stories and provide a bit more insight and a final sneak peek at the park before we open up just a few hours away. So with that, I'm going to actually turn it off to the team at the park. And Chris, I'm going to let you take it.
Hey, Maura, it's really fantastic. And the other thing that's happened all 10 nights we've done Quarryside Chats is great weather. I mean, you can see behind me some blue skies. Forecast for tomorrow and this weekend looks great for our opening day. So we're actually trying to guess how many people we think are going to show up, but the weather is going to cooperate, which is a big difference. So I'm standing here on the roof deck of the Foundry, which is our grab and go restaurant, and over my shoulder you can see the Forge Quarry behind me on a beautiful night, getting ready for an awesome sunset. And back there, you see the three tallest ropes towers in the world. And the one on your left is the skyscraper tower, the tallest one. And there we've got Bart Lothan, who's also going to be joining in. Bart, how's it look over there?
You know, it looks spectacular. I am sitting on the top zip platform where tomorrow morning, the winner of our first zip contest will be launched off of this tower where I'm sitting, across that quarry over to where you're sitting, down those zip lines.
Super cool. And that's going to be exciting. All right. And even further away from Bart, so Bart's about a quarter mile away on the other side of the Forge Quarry and the skyscraper tower. And then even further away on the very other side of the aerial course is Jeremy Bacon in West X. How's it look up there on West X?
It looks absolutely fabulous, Chris. Thanks so much for asking. You know, I'm sitting here at West X, as you mentioned, and a couple of weeks ago, you might recall if you watched this series, we were up here. We were going to climb the West X tower then, but we had a rain hold, unfortunately, even though it never rained. So I wasn't able to get up here. Over my shoulder, you can actually see some of our staff doing their final run-throughs of the park, making sure everything is safe and secure for tomorrow. I'm going to flip my camera around just to give you a sense of like the scale for this place again. So this is the far, far west side of the park. So I'm about a half a mile away from where Chris is and a quarter-ish mile away from where Bart is. This is basically as close to the west exit or entrance of the park as you can get. And if I look down here, because I'm at the very top on the the very top rappel platform, you can see below my dangling feet here, there's a couple of zip lines that take you out to the east off of this angle, and a couple more over there that take you out east off of that angle onto Hex Towers 1 and 2 that then lead into 3, 4, 5 and the skyscraper and East X Tower as well. Very fun, very beautiful.
Cool. Well, it's a great night, and it's really I think for the three of us, having worked on this for years, it's really quite a special time to be at this point where we're opening tomorrow. It's going to happen. And
yes, we are.
I guess it's a good time to reflect on kind of how we got here. So Jeremy, for you, like, how did this concept get started? And when did you start to realize what was going to get built out here?
Well, I mean, the concept and the idea and the dream for something kind of like this started to coalesce back in 2006, actually, when I first became aware of Lemont Quarries. I came out to Lemont to run in the Quarryman Challenge, which is a well-known race out here. You've run it with me, Chris. It's a lot of fun. It's a 10-mile and 5K super hilly run. And man, in 2006, I crossed the finish line, and Jeanette Virgilio, who at the time was a village trustee, handed me a trophy, which was a chunk of dolomite limestone. As it turns out, it was from this very quarry. And I never knew there were quarries back here. And she pointed me down this road and on this I&M canal path. And I came back here and fell in love. and thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to do something really spectacular back here? But then, you know, it was years and years and years later, in January of 2014, actually, that I sat down with the then mayor, Brian Reeves, and said, hey, man, what would you think if we tried to resurrect some of the plans that the village has had for over a decade by that point to further beautify and add more cool elements and activities to the Heritage Corridor, or sort of the Heritage Quarries recreation area? And he said, who's paying? And I said, well, of course, it would be private capital, because the public capital doesn't have that kind of budget. And so, you know, that's then the village sort of jumped in and said, well, yeah, this would be amazing. And the township was like, well, yeah, this would be amazing. So that sort of was the catalyst to start conversations between you and me, Chris, right? To sort of say, okay, we know we can get some public support. Why don't we ID on this thing and see where it goes?
Yeah, and that's really where I think Bart got involved. And one of the things that we learned is, you know, when you walk around this area, it's, you know, it's an enormous site. It's 300 acres. It's not only a half mile from me to where you are, Jeremy, but it's a mile the other way. And then it's a half mile wide or so the whole way. It's a big site. But to put this together, it wasn't as simple as, you know, we just went out and bought this chunk of land and it's easy. What we ended up doing was putting together multiple different parcels of land, each one with their own long and complex story, to make a public-private partnership where parts of the use is very much for the public, open to the public and free, and parts of it are very much private, and the private really drives the public use. And that was one thing that I think we needed Bart to help us with, was kind of navigating all that. And I guess, you know, question for you, Bart, how do you think this compares, you know, with other projects? Is it common to have these kind of public-private partnerships, and do they often go as well as this one has?
So my judgment is that it is not common. This was and is a complex real estate transaction. There's property that we own, there's property that the township owns, there's property that the village owns, there's property that MWRD owns that they lease to the village, all of which is part of the Heritage Quarries recreation area. And the cooperation we've had from both the village and the township in doing this is, I think, unique. They wanted something that was a centerpiece for recreation in the area, and they needed private capital to help make that happen. And they were willing, and very willing and very, very welcoming of us to come in and do what we've done, this massive exceptional park, and to tie in the intent of the recreation area itself. It's unique, and it's been a 4-year project, but you know, there's been twists and turns along the way, and there's complications by, you know, canals and railroads and highways and things like that. But it's gone relatively smooth. It hasn't been, and that's thanks to the cooperation of the township and the village, and thanks to I think our commitment to do what we need to do to make everyone happy.
Let's talk for a second then about like the public part. We talk a lot about, and we will soon talk about, like the private things, like the aerial course that is obviously something you pay to use. But it's worth noting, you know, all the public improvements that we've made. I know, Jeremy, you've been involved in actually, you know, I mean, literally picking up trash, hauling out trash. You know, give us a sense of like how many trails are open to the public here, and what are the things that we did in terms of improvements for the public? And
yeah,
go ahead.
It's great. Yeah, for sure. So, and actually, interestingly enough, from my vantage point here at the West X Tower, I can kind of talk to some of these things and do a little show and tell at the same time. So I'm going to flip my camera back around and do that. But like, so where I'm standing right now, you can see over my head here is Andre, one of our staff members. And then this beautiful quarry that's got this shimmering, beautiful water, that's Consumers Quarry. That actually, this is actually a relatively unknown fact, even in Lemont. That quarry right there has absolutely nothing to do with the village of Lemont or the township of Lemont or the forge. It's owned by a separate entity, it's licensed by a separate entity, and it falls completely and totally outside the wheelhouse of our efforts with the village and the township to beautify, to restore, and to reclaim this area. Where the forge, the township, and the village partnership really begins is the land beneath my feet here, and just off to the west, where you've got the pavilion, the gazebo, and this icebox quarry that butts up against the Illinois and Michigan Canal. And then this green line here right in front of us now where I'm pointing, this is sort of the western boundary of township and village property that extends, as I point my hand, all the way out, almost as far as your eyes can see. And if I zoom in a bit, you can see way down there into the Great Lakes quarries as well. So all of this land on the north side of the Illinois and Michigan Canal, that big dark line that my finger's running across right now, that is township and village land that is either owned directly or that's on license from the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. And those of you who know this area know that there's already a beautiful looping trail that goes right through the tree line here all the way around. It's about 2 miles from start to finish. And that was always sort of the main trail. And then there's road, if you will, on the north side of the Illinois-Michigan Canal, and there's trail on the south side of the Illinois-Michigan Canal that goes down and ultimately ends at a chemical company at the far east edge of the park. So all that space is included in the public part of the park, and was the area that has always been open for canoeing and kayaking and all kinds of stuff like that. Since we broke ground out here and started building more trails, we have done a lot of work on the existing trails, but we've also added another 1.5 miles or so far of walking and biking trails through the north parts of the park, which of course will be open for everyone to enjoy from now and forevermore. And we have many more miles of trail planned for back on the north side of the park, both walking and biking and running, as well as single track mountain biking and more. So we've already committed both through this construction process, but as well going forward to perpetually invest our capital, some of the proceeds of operating this park, into the land on the north side of the park to not only build more trails and restore and maintain what's already there, but to also remove a ton of the invasive plant species that are on the northern side of the park. I know it's hard to see from here because it looks like, oh, it's green, it's beautiful, it must be natural. The reality is, and Chris can hop in here too, for better and for worse, it's something like 10% of the biomass, the tree-based biomass here, maybe even less based on the studies we did over the last several years, is actually non-invasive. It's native, in other words. The oak, the ash trees, etc., that are back here are gorgeous, but they are grossly outnumbered by buckthorn, honeysuckle, and tree of heaven, and other, creeping vines and things that are actually pinching off and killing all the trees that we want. So part of our commitment to the village is to slowly but surely remove a lot of those invasives and replace them with natural native plants.
Yeah, and that's a multi-million-dollar, multi-decade effort. And that's, for me, I think for you and the rest of us, that's one of the things we're most proud of, is we were able to put together an operation, the private part of the park that can fuel that, because it just simply wasn't possible. The village and the township just didn't have the resources to make that kind of commitment. And what we built with them is an organization that can do that and is doing that. And 10, 20 years from now, it's going to really be spectacular. So with that, maybe just pause, and throw it back to Maura. Any questions or things you're hearing from the audience that we should be digging a little deeper into?
We do. We had one question come in, and it actually nicely aligns with the conversation that you're having right now. How can guests volunteer? Is there a volunteer program, and what does that look like?
There is a volunteer program. Bart or Chris, if you want to take that, you can, or I can run through it if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Great. Yeah, so we have a program that that's nascent. It's just getting off the ground. It's called Friends of the Forge. And through Friends of the Forge, we want to make opportunities available to youth groups, church groups, scouting groups, and even just individuals and families that want to come out and help us to do really fun activities. Those activities include invasive species removal to help us build more trails and prepare more ground for trails. Again, I said before, we have miles and miles of trails we want to cut here, and we want to do it with volunteers who want to contribute, want to have some fun. Also, through the Friends of the Forge program, we're going to be doing another program associated with that called CLUCK. It stands for Clean Up Kids. It's a great way for young children who want to get involved, who have parents probably who want to get them involved in learning about recycling and learning about the importance of removing litter and removing trash. There are sadly, this quarry area was used as a public dumping site for decades and decades and decades. And although we've removed, I don't know how many tons of trash and old cars and farm equipment and junk and garbage that people have thrown back here, there's still many, 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 many tons of garbage to be removed. And so we're looking for help and volunteers to help us do that. We're also looking through the Friends of the Forge for people to help us with species identification, both plant and animal. And so if any of those things appeal to you, we would love to chat and get together to talk about that. The last element of Friends of the Forge that we've been talking about with some local community members and want to continue the dialogue is actually building an aviary here in the quarries, so we can have a number of beehives that would be out here to help us with this spread of good plants and good animals. So those are the major items. And if you want to get involved, just go to our website at forgeparks.com. There's a whole section on Friends of the Forge. You can shoot us an email through that site, and we'll get in touch.
All right. Well, with that, why don't I bring Byron Bell, our general manager, in on some of the questions. He's up here on the deck with me, socially distanced away, I'm happy to say. So that's why we don't have our masks on. But so Byron, as the general manager, I guess I'm curious. Tell me about how is opening compare to what you expected, and are we going to be ready to open tomorrow? Let me start with that.
That's a great question. So to answer that question, definitely, we will be ready. We are ready. We're actually here practicing with the staff, going through our final run-throughs, finishing up little task lists and everything like that. So we're ready for you. We can't wait to see everybody to come out. And honestly, we couldn't be more excited to bring people into the park. Second question, or I guess it was your first question, how is this compared to opening other parks? There's nothing else like this anywhere else in the world. I've opened parks and run parks all over the planet, and this is a truly unique experience that you will not find anywhere else. And opening this up was, albeit challenging, but with the fantastic team that we assembled, it made it, a phenomenal experience that we were able to overcome any challenges and really, really become ingratiated within the community and just do some amazing things that you guys will all get to see very soon.
Cool. Well, any other questions from the audience there, Maura?
We did have one come in. We have an individual who's interested in learning about the fishing situation down there. Are folks still able to fish? Is it off limits? What does fishing look like now with the Forge Lemont Quarries?
So I'll take that if you want.
Oh, please.
It's part of we were talking about the public aspects of the park earlier, and part of the public aspects of the park is the area north of the old I&M Canal is fully open to the public, just as it's always been. So Great Lakes Quarry, which you can see sort of through there, is fully open to the public for fishing, kayaking. There's boat launches there. There's no restriction on fishing or kayaking or anything else in Great Lakes Quarry. It's also interesting to note that the village, through the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, has recently stocked the Great Lakes Quarry with some nice fish, and so fishing should be excellent there for this year and the years to come.
Yeah, I think it was, if I remember, there was like some walleye they stocked, some perch, some really good stuff.
Yeah, the quarries are already full of bass and crappie, some of the warmer weather fish, but they did stock the Great Lakes Quarry with fingerling walleyes, quite a few of them. Hopefully, if the weather's not too hot, they'll survive and they'll get deep and they won't get eaten by other fish. And in a couple of years, there'll be walleye coming out of Great Lakes Quarry.
All right, cool. Maury, any other questions? Actually, while I have the floor here, I do also want to ask Byron a couple questions, just the logistics. Like, when are we open tomorrow? And what are the different ways that people can, come? I mean, if they want to do the paid activities, their day passes, member passes, what are the options?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So we're open to the general public tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. and we'll be open until 8 p.m. We're open for reservations, so we are asking that you do make a reservation. You can do that online at theforgeparks.com so that we can appropriately have the right number of people based on the quantities that we're allowed to operate with at the moment. But that being said, the best option is for you to get a membership so that you can come in for member only hours. If you are a member of the Forge Lemont Quarries, you get to come in early from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So as we inspect some of the larger elements and portions of the course, other stuff will be open and stuff will start to open. Different attractions will start to open from 8 to 10. So you get in ahead of the crowds, ahead of everybody else. So that's one of the many, many, many benefits of becoming a member. So we talked about the 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for members. We have our 10 a.m. opening for the general public, and we have a few different ways that you can come and play. We have our day pass, which is the ultimate adventure. You get to do everything out on the course. The 8 Towers Adventure, which is the world's largest and tallest ropes course, which has 4 zip lines, all about 1,000 feet each. You've got mountain biking with pump tracks and skills courses, and one of the most amazing pump tracks that's been built in the Midwest 5 Velo Solutions. It's just fantastic. We also have paddle sports, which includes kayaking, canoeing, and pedal boats on a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful forge quarry. And we also have the 2 Towers Kids Adventure for those ages 3 to 13 that also is included in a day pass. Now, if you just wanted to participate in one of those activities individually, we do have several options. The 2 most popular are our mountain bike passes. So it's $35 to go mountain biking for the day, and that comes with a helmet rental and a bike rental. And again, you can reserve that online. And you can also come with your own equipment, and that's $15 day pass to come in and enjoy the attractions with the mountain biking with your own equipment. All that's required is that we take a look at it, make sure that it's up to standards that we need to ride on our course. So you got some options there as well. So many different options. Then, of course, as we mentioned last week, and I know Jeremy mentioned this last week, the Forge is free to visit and pay to play. So if you just want to come out and check it out and just see what everything is all about, maybe come stop by, have a drink, or grab a bite to eat at the Foundry or Grab and Go restaurant, there's definitely no better way to come out and just explore and see what you're doing. So definitely, whatever method that you want to employ for coming out and checking everything out, we'll be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So come and see us.
And the other thing we should mention, just because it's so important, is we are also operating under, very thorough COVID safety procedures. Even though Illinois moved to phase 4, we're operating the park from as though we're still in phase 3, mainly because we can, and we can do it in such a way that it doesn't diminish the experience. We got all the space to socially distance people, as they go through these different activities. It's just not a problem. We won't, the maximum capacity is lower than it would be because of COVID, but in some ways that makes for a better experience. I mean, it's not going to be as crowded as it otherwise would be, and everyone can be, as safe as possible. So that's also built in. And if you come to the park as a part of the training, let's say to go on the aerial course, you'll understand what the COVID policies are to make sure you're safe. So with that, I'll throw that back to Maura for any other questions.
Thanks, Chris. We did have quite a number of COVID questions come in, so thanks for clarifying that. I also will just say that we have a wealth of information on our COVID operations policy on our website, forgeparks.com, including a video that walks you through all of the safety measures and steps that we're taking at the park. So make sure to check that out before your visit. One question that we keep getting is the mask situation. Are masks required, especially as folks are exercising or on activity?
I can take that one. So the short answer to the question is yes. We are a mask worn zone. So we expect and we ask that everyone who comes to the park come with a mask. In fact, if you don't have one, you'll either need to go back home and get one, or you'll have to purchase one on site. Because again, we're opening the park under the Restore Illinois guidelines. Those guidelines require masks in open spaces and masks where crowds might be. And we will have some spaces such as the check-in and areas and the bottom zip line areas and areas around the Foundry where you'll end up in closer proximity with other people. And so we would ask that you wear masks when you're doing those things. When you're up on the 8 Towers Adventure, or you are mountain biking, or you are bouldering and climbing and things, in as much as you're safely distanced from other guests, obviously you can remove your mask, but we'd ask that you wear it the way we do, right? So it's hanging around our necks at all times so that we can easily get it back onto our face to make sure that those around us, including ourselves, are safe and healthy. Our entire staff is wearing masks all day long. They will wear it when they're helping you on the 8 Towers adventure, when they're helping in the check-in zones, when they're helping you at the foundry and everywhere else. And we would appreciate the same courtesy and the same respect for safety as we're trying to display for you.
So you mentioned, Jeremy, that if folks didn't have their own at the park, that they can purchase a face mask. We also have some questions around head coverings and gloves. So to clarify, a head covering means a bandana or a hat, just something that you can wear similar to what Jeremy has on his head right now that fits with the helmet on top, but doesn't obscure your view. And the gloves, same thing. If you don't have the head covering or the gloves, Byron, will those be available to purchase at the park tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely. So we will have bandanas available for purchase at the park. So when you come in, if you don't have a head covering, that's okay. We do have those available for you. Again, we talked about the masks, much like the ones you see us all wearing. They look really fantastic and cool. And then, of course, with the gloves, if you would like to bring your own, you're more than welcome to. We just ask that they be a type of glove that has a strong leather palm that will protect your hand against abrasion from cables and ropes and things like that. Just makes it a more comfortable experience. So we do require that. If you want to purchase gloves, we do have some fantastic gloves that are available, Forge branded gloves.
Yeah, I was going to say, Byron, our gloves and our bandanas are cool, man.
They are super cool. And our masks, it's all freaking cool. It's amazing. Yeah, so not only will you be well protected on the course, but you also look pretty darn cool too. And those gloves are available for purchase for $16 on site, and they're versatile and multi-use. So you can use them rappelling or climbing or any other kind of activity where you would need some high performance gloves. So they're very, very utilizable elsewhere in the world as well. And they look pretty cool. And, you know, you get to rep your favorite place to forge everywhere you go. So couldn't beat that.
They don't look pretty cool. They look really cool. Well, thanks for
really cool.
We had a question. We had a question come in around memberships. You mentioned just the membership deal earlier in the chat, just how a phenomenal deal it is that you can have access to all activities. You get a discount on food and beverage. You get a discount on special events like things like concerts. We had a question come in that said, can I upgrade to a membership and apply the fee I paid for a day pass?
And that's a fantastic question. And absolutely you can. We want you, if you want to come and check it out and like we mentioned earlier, see what everything's about, we will happily upgrade you from your day pass to a membership and roll that fee that you paid into your membership fee. So come on out, give us a try. I'm pretty convinced that you'll want to upgrade to the membership because, you know, if you're anything like me, you're going to want to be out here every single day if you can make it. So I think a lot of people will want to do that, and we do have that option. So if you're just a little bit, you know, not sure or want to take a look, you know, make up your mind about it, we'll absolutely afford you that opportunity, and then you can roll that right into a membership the day that you come out for your visit.
Fantastic. I do just want to say that it's 1 minute after 7. We had a number of questions come in though, so I really do want to try and get these questions answered since this is our last Quarryside chat before the big opening tomorrow. Speaking of really cool merchandise, Jeremy, are we going to sell merchandise at the park? And if so, where do folks find it?
Okay, so that's a wonderful question. COVID kind of threw a wrench in the works for having on-site merchandise outside of our gloves and face coverings and head coverings. But as you can see, I'm wearing a Forge t-shirt right now. And so all the clothing that we have available is on our website. You just go to forgeparks.com/shop or find it there on the website under the merchandise section. And we have a whole array of t-shirts and hoodies and all kinds of other good stuff that you can buy there that has all the junk you'd ever want from the Forge. And we'll keep adding new inventory all the time. As the COVID world starts to or continues to recover and supplies and things become more readily available, inevitably we'll have some great supply here at the park as well. For now, it's drop shipping off the internet only.
And you can find that forgeparks.com. It's available, so make sure to check out all the cool shirts, including the cool one that Jeremy has on right now. Bart, we had a question about what happens if it rains. Do we offer refunds?
Well, the park is open, rain or shine. If your whole day was ruined, I suspect there might be some allowance made, but it's open, rain or shine. So check the weather before you come. If there's lightning, we'll get you down off the tower, but it's open, rain or shine, and it's fun in the rain too.
And I can take that a little bit further. So Bart's totally right. We'll basically have some kind of rain check available for activities you may not have been able to do if we make the call to shut down the park for the day and are unable to continue operations because of weather. But as Bart said, prepare for the weather. It is just as fun, if not, I could argue it's even more fun to play around in the rain and go on the zip and have the rain going through your face. It's pretty exciting. So we are open, rain or shine. Obviously, for more severe weather, we may do temporary closures and may make those decisions, which we will, of course, update the public about as we get more information about the situations. But again, open, rain or shine. So our policies are that you're more than welcome to reschedule a date. If for whatever reason you're uncomfortable with the way the weather forecast is looking, you can give us a call or message us to do a rescheduled event. And then if we cancel for whatever reason, then we would give a rain check for activities not completed.
And all of our terms and conditions and all of the policies are available online. So if you have any questions or need further information, make sure to check it all out at forgeparks.com. We've obviously talked about the fact that we are in Lemont, Illinois. We've had a couple of questions come in asking whether we will offer a special discount for Lemont residents.
Yeah, I will.
Yes, we will. Go ahead, Byron.
Yeah, so we are super excited to offer, and starting on July 26th, our first community day that will be able to be booked by local members of the community, Lemont residents. We're going to be offering 50% off on our passes for those local Lemont residents, which we will require ID in the form of a driver's license or utility bill that indicates your residency. But we just want to show our extreme appreciation for this amazing village and all the people who have been so supportive of us and watched us as we kind of built this amazing park, and we want to tell you how much we appreciate you. So that will be the first one on the 26th. We will have several more throughout the season into the fall. So keep your eyes peeled for those, and we definitely want to see all of the village of Lemont and all of our local community out and having fun up on the course and all our attractions with us.
And keep an eye out on our social channels on Sunday. We'll share more information about that very special discount for Lemont residents. We had a question come in asking whether we have handicap accessible restrooms.
I'll go ahead and take that one as well. We do have ADA accessible restrooms as well as some porta potties. Not all of the spaces and trails are ADA accessible in the park, but we do have access and restrooms available for folks who need special accommodations. We do have a commitment to being as accessible as possible. So for whatever reason you're having issues, you'll always feel free to be able to reach out to us so that we can assist you in every way possible. If you're trying to make plans for coming to the park, we would absolutely love to hear from you so that we can make your adventure available and accessible and get you out here as best as possible.
So one last question that came in that's really important to touch upon tonight, the eve before our big public opening tomorrow, is where do I park and is it free?
That's a fantastic question.
Why don't I get that one, Byron, since I can show them the parking lot.
Yeah,
here,
you
sense.
can have a much better vantage.
I can show both of them. Yeah. So answer is parking is totally free. If I look you look right across from the West X Tower here, you can see this. The parking lot that, for those of you who are residents, know as the parking lot at Kruger Quarry. We have extended that lot pretty significantly, working with the village. That's your primary parking location. We have space for 250 cars there. And there's also 2 more parking lots that are a little further east next to the new access bridge that we put in to access the east side of the park. So those are your primary locations on the north side. And looking down to the west side, way down there, you probably can't see it, where the gazebo is another parking lot. It's called West Lot, and that has another 99 vehicle spaces. So you can park at any of those and walk across the canal or walk up the southern canal path, and you'll get to the check-in zones.
That's awesome. And the last question, sorry, I thought that one was the last one that just came in that I think is important to also touch upon as a dog owner and lover myself. Can I bring my dog to the park?
Yeah, definitely. So we totally welcome and accept well-behaved leash dogs in the park. We're definitely a dog-friendly park, and we'd love to see your friendly dog, we do require that they be on a leash, and that's actually a rule not only for the Forge, but also for the Heritage Quarries recreation area. So be sure that you're properly leashing your dogs, and as long as they're well behaved, and we would just love to see them, our furry friends, running around. Can't have them come ziplining just yet, but you know, that would be a fun thing as well.
Maybe one day. Friendly dogs and responsible dog owners. So remember, pick up after your four-legged friends. I will just note that we had a couple of questions come in around mountain biking. I think the best way to tackle that is to go to our YouTube channel. We have all of our Quarryside chats that we have done over the last 10 weeks there for you to watch. We specifically did 2 on mountain biking, so it gives you all of the information there that you might be looking for before you come out to ride the skills course or the pump track with us starting tomorrow. And then with that, guys, this is me signing off from Quarryside Chat 10 before I kick it off to the 3 co-founders to give their final words and thoughts again before our big opening tomorrow. So, Chris, if you're still with us, I can kind of see your view. You're checking out the mountain and the mountain biking skills track over there. But I'm going to kick it to you just to say some final words, and then we'll give it to Bart, and Jeremy will wrap it up.
Yeah, I think it'd just be good to do a quick shot. Like you said, there's the pump track and the skills track back there, our restrooms, you know, bike rental, the kid zone. You know, as we pan over here, we've got the bottom zip, the dock where you rent paddle sports. Down there is one of the fire pits for Forge Fire. Here's the foundry lower deck and roof deck. And then if I pan that way, we go across the Forge Quarry to the skyscraper tower where Bart is.
Yep, I'm still here. In fact, I'm now here with a couple of my kids have made it all the way up. They're helping the staff train today. So Gwen and Wyatt can wave. So we love this as a family place. We love doing these sorts of things as a family, and everybody's out here having some fun, helping the staff figure out how to train people on this, and it's just spectacular. The view is great. The weather is great. It's nice to be way up here high. You can see the parking lots Jeremy was talking about, the quarry, back over to where Chris is. And now as I turn and look back at the ropes courses in the park, way over there is Jeremy, and we'll turn it to him for his final words.
Hey, everybody. Thanks again. Yeah, and I'm obviously just grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be a member of the Lemont community and to have a family that's able to live here, to go to school here, to work here, and to be part of this community. I mean, we're all just so thrilled to be able to be part of the future of the Lemont Quarries, the Heritage Quarries recreation area. And all we ask for is everyone's open-mindedness and willingness to continue to work with us, the village, and the township to ensure that this beautiful open space stays and actually becomes even more beautiful. It's an asset that we all share, and it's an asset we all want to work on together. We're so thrilled to be able to work on it with you. Come out to the park and have some fun, and we'll see you around.
Thanks so much, guys, and I will take it from there. Thanks for joining us these last 10 weeks. It's been a wild ride, but we'll see you all in real life starting tomorrow. Come check us out. Take care. Thanks.